Every time I talk about Jesus, I feel good, good, good. I feel good, good, good. I feel good, wonderful, good. Every time I talk about Jesus, I feel good, good, good. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Oh, angels bow before him, heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. What a mighty God we serve. Angels bow before him, heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. Let's take it down one more time with amen. 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 Little louder. Amen. Sing it like you mean it. Amen. Amen.
Everyone to stand at this time for prayer. Let's pray. Father, our loving Lord and Savior, we want to thank you once more for having brought us here for another session in our worship service. We ask that you will be with the presenter, be with the message will be sent. Help that we will learn from it. And Lord, help that we will use it to better our lives as we continue to this series, dear God. And we come to this final lap, Lord. Help that we all may embrace this message to live a better life with you. Lord, thank you for what we will receive now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You may be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, today presenting on sleep deprivation and the family. All right? So what is sleep deprivation? Yes, I'm going to ask for a portable microphone, please. So it means when you haven't received enough sleep, right, or enough rest, insufficient sleep is a condition of not having enough sleep. It can be either chronic or acute and may vary widely in severity. Can you see the screen? If you want to see the screen, you can come on this side and view it on the screen. So when we speak about sleep deprivation, we can also think of fatigue. And this largely results from an inadequate quantity or quality of sleep. The quality of sleep is also important to maintain your normal alertness and performance. Brother Ludford, you have the clicker, or you change it for me, please? Oh, I can, all right. All right, do you know of anyone suffering from sleep deprivation? Who said yes? Where's the portable microphone?
Roman Mike. Elder Buckley. All right, so you can tell us some of the symptoms, who the person is and what are some of the symptoms.
All right, the person is my sister.
Yes.
Um, she gets an average like 3 hours sleep each night. And so in the day, she is drowsy
Yes.
and tired.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
So drowsy and tiredness. Being drowsy and tired, that's the physical aspect, all right? So she mentioned two physical features that the person is suffering from, drowsiness and tiredness, you said, right? All right. Anybody else? Know of anybody that's suffering from it? Go again.
Because I understand that only relate to what Dr. Butler explained. That 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 which she explained a while ago
Yes.
only refer to sleep deprivation.
No, that's what we're looking at.
Yes, but I'm asking a simple question. Don't there are other
No,
symptoms
man.
that
Yes.
yes,
Yes,
that's-
but she knows why she says it. She says that her sister just gets how many hours? About 3 hours of sleep per night.
yes,
Do you
but
suffer from it?
for me?
Yes.
But there are a lot of people who don't sleep much like me.
Right.
I don't sleep much
Yes.
because I use most of my times. Well, I'm a straight business person, so I spend most of my time planning. Like I will go to bed. Like this, most mornings I got up from 2,
Yes.
right?
What time do you go to bed?
Well, there's a difference because I wake 12 in the day. So when I
Oh.
go to bed by 4, I wake 12 in the day or 11.
So you're getting sufficient sleep.
Yes, but I'm
Yes.
simply saying that there are a lot of people who don't there are a lot of people
No, man.
who
nobody
don't
is.
sleep and don't have that sickness.
All
There are a lot of people.
Kino.
There are a lot of people. who
No,
don't
man, I
sleep.
hear you. I hear you. And we are not refuting what you're saying. We are agreeing with what you're saying, that the symptoms can be as a result of something else. But this afternoon, we are focusing on sleep deprivation. And so the physical, let's look at some of the physical symptoms. Falling asleep, head nodding, heavy eyelids, rubbing eyes, lack of coordination, dizziness, change in appetite, headache, impaired vision, yawning, and there are others. All right? Let's look at the mental symptoms. And it's not only older people that suffers from this, you know, so I want the younger ones to listen too. Making errors, difficulty making decisions, difficulty concentrating, trouble communicating, short attention span, lapses in memory, slower reaction time. Emotional symptoms, irritable, unmotivated, lethargic, lacking in energy, quiet, withdrawn. Now that I've mentioned these symptoms, do you know of anybody that's suffering from SD? Yes.
Don't care why you see, all right. I will come to church. I sleep in the night, but sometime in the night I find myself wake in the night and cannot, no care me try to go back to sleep, me can't sleep. The only reason why I see me will fall back asleep. Say for instance, me wake up like 3 o'clock in the morning and me can't go back to sleep. And I prove that. If I just say a word of prayer, in no time I just find myself just fall right back to sleep and I don't know when I go back to sleep. And if I come to church and I feel sleepy, and by the time I go home and go in the bed, I can't sleep.
Sister Thorpe, I'm sure that there are some persons that are nodding their heads and saying, yes, that happens to them as well. As you get older, you'll find that the sleep will take longer to come, right? Agree? Right. And some persons will find themselves waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're fighting to go back to sleep. As she said, saying a word of prayer works for her. You know what works for me? Get up and read the Bible. And I fall back asleep immediately, which isn't good. I mean, that's not good that you read the Bible and falling asleep. But it works for me. And one thing I can say, I'm not here to diagnose anybody to say you have a sleep disorder. But one thing I can tell you, the more you fight to drop back asleep, the further away it will go. So you don't fight to fall back asleep. You do something that will relax you so that you can go back to sleep. All right, Brother Johnson, you mentioned earlier that those symptoms could be as a result of something else. They are also related to stress, right? In other words, sleep deprivation shows up in our bodies as stress in terms of psychological symptoms. When we don't get enough sleep, the cortisol, that's the main hormone in chronic stress, stays higher longer and has a damaging effect on the body. When we are sleep deprived, we are less resilient in dealing with stressful situations, less effective problem solvers, less creative and innovative. All right? And we will be more difficult to get along with. Of course, we also know that when we are sleep deprived, our thoughts are not clear many times. All right? You ever see somebody cranky? They come cranky to work, to church, and you say, what's wrong with them? They did not get enough sleep. And we're going to go into some of the factors because I know some teenagers too. It's not that they're suffering from it like that, you know. It's not that they can't go to sleep. They choose not to go to sleep. Yes, Brother Tommy.
Madam Teacher, I want somebody to give somebody some of my sleep. Because I find out that I'm sleeping too much. What is that? If I turn on the television 7 o'clock, it starts to watch me instead of me watching it. And then I don't wake up back until 12. And just as 12, and I just repeat a Psalms also. About 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I am sleeping too much. Can you give me advice? Why am I sleeping so much?
Okay. Can't give you any advice, but what I was thinking, the Bible speaks about it, the man that labors a lot, right? Will get good rest, right? No, if you are somebody that works outdoors, like a farmer, you're working hard in the sun, toiling away, you're going to find that the sleep will come easier. So, Brother Tommy, is it that you labor well? I know you're a hard worker, so that could be one of the things. So if you sleep a lot, I wouldn't say that there's anything wrong with that, because, Brother Tommy, I don't think that it's every day that it happens to you. Sometimes your body is so exhausted, you're so fatigued that it takes a while for your body to fill that gap that was there. Your body needs to rejuvenate, and so it gets in that mode. So that could be the reason why. Does it relate to your diet?
I'm just asking, is it possible that it can relate to your diet? Too much sugar?
I know too much sugar makes you hyperactive. Caffeine makes you hyperactive, yes. And when you eat a lot of starch, a lot of carbohydrates,
give you energy.
It makes you groggy if you are not somebody that's toiling outside, working hard.
But there's any sign of diabetes?
Well, that's another program, right? So let's look at the causes of fatigue. Fatigue can be the result of a variety of factors. The body's natural rhythms, family duties, young children, work schedule, work environment, and I don't have there, but I would add to it maybe illness, some forms of illnesses, all right? So what are body rhythms? Your body clock, also called your circadian rhythms, programs you to sleep at night and be awake during the day. It can be difficult to get good quality sleep during the day when your body wants to be awake. If you have anything to add to that? Let's look at family duties. Let me see the hands of those here who have a family. You have a family, you have family duties, right? Some duties are more fatiguing than others. Complex, demanding duties. And some are boring, some are mundane tasks. These will increase feelings of fatigue. Balancing family with work and social life can be stressful and make it hard to get adequate sleep. Family demands, such as you have some persons who are ill in the family, and trust me, many times when you have an ill person in the family, the caregiver is the one who suffers more. The caregiver can get so ill, more ill than the person that they are caring for, or even pass away. As a result of caring for that person, it takes a lot out of you, all right? Personal problems such as a separation, you're going through a separation, you're going through a divorce, increased stress and the likelihood of becoming fatigued. Young children or teenagers. Now that your child is a teenager, the demands on your energy, your time and energy are different from when they were younger. In the earlier years, you needed to feed, bathe, and comfort your little one. Now that person is older and looking after himself or herself more and more. But your child still needs more practical help and active involvement. For example, your child might be involved in a wide range of social and extracurricular activities. So you need to take your child to and fro from the activities, and at the same time, you might be working more hours or involved in other activities yourself. Work schedule. There are some persons who work shift. Security guards, nurses, doctors, who else? Police officers, who else? Soldiers, yes. Nurse, yes. They work on shift. And working through the night, long shifts, many shifts in a row, and short turnaround reduce the time you have for sleep and increase the likelihood of you becoming fatigued. Your work environment. Some persons work in a loud, noisy environment where it's extremely hot or it's extremely cold. All right? Sometimes it's so humid, like it is now, that it causes you to feel fatigued. As I mentioned illness, caring for somebody that's ill, but yourself, you being ill, having some illness, can cause you to be fatigued as well. So sometimes you can't just say that, oh, it's because I can't sleep. You need to go to the doctor to find out why it is that you're having the sleep problem. Don't just diagnose yourself, all right? It could be some illness of some sort. Yes, that you don't know about. So the body clock, known as the circadian nature. It's not just because we have had a long day or we are tired that we have to go to sleep. Your body clock actually controls feelings of sleepiness. telling your body to go to sleep when it's dark and to wake up when it's light. Light and dark are triggers. A study, I don't have it here, but I know a study shows that when you go to bed at, say, 7, 8 o'clock, right, there is a hormone that's released, a chemical that's released that causes you to rest better, that causes you to feel rejuvenated when you wake, causes you to remain younger. Have you ever heard of that? Right. So for those of us who like to burn the midnight oil, and you can't go to bed until 12 o'clock or after, they say, your parents may say to you, go to bed now. You say, but I'm not 12 o'clock yet, because they use that as a timer for you to say, if it's not 12 o'clock yet, I can't go to bed. Then you know that you're missing out on receiving that special hormone that's released at that time when your body is in deep. All right, how much sleep is enough? Many theorists say different things, all right? A standard one that they use is what, 8 hours? Right, that's standard, but then again, it goes according to your age. So they say older people don't need as much. The smaller ones need the 8 hours, right? The teenagers, because of studying, sometimes when they're at the university level, they say at least 6 hours. But a standard that they use is 8 hours. And that is because your body needs to. Do you know that when your body is in a state of rest, that healing takes place during that time? Right? In many ways. So your body needs to go through that process to rejuvenate. Work at night, you're also fighting against other body rhythms such as digestion. Your body's digestive system slows down when you're normally sleeping. So eating at night forces your body to digest food it's not ready for. This is why shift workers are more likely to experience fatigue and gastrointestinal problems because they have to eat late, and this affects their sleep. Sleep. Most people, Elder Buckley just asked the question, most people need 7 to 9 hours a day of sleep. Right? It's not true that you need less sleep as you get older. That's what they're saying here, and I just said the opposite. I just said the opposite. And the reason why I said it is because when persons get older, they tend to slow down in their action that they do on a daily basis. So you know that you retire when you reach a certain age, right? And you don't go out to work. You don't do much of that hard labor. So your body, many times, as I say, if you don't toil as hard throughout the day, you won't want to sleep as early. So that's why I said that as you get older, you may not need as much sleep, depending on your activity, your level of activity. When you sleep, makes a difference in how much you get done. Sleep is best obtained in a single block. So as you get older, it becomes physically more difficult to stay asleep across a sleep period without waking up. Aging brings disruptions to your body clock. And things like an aging bladder can wake you up more often in the night, especially for those who are diabetic too, right? You know you have to wake up often to go and urinate. The males, when they get older and the prostate Pardon?
You're talking about the
prostate? Yes. But,
but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but, but
that floor can be corrected by exercise.
You can tell us.
No, I'm simply saying that in terms of controlling your brother,
Yes.
the scientists also say that it can be done through exercise, you know.
Okay.
And not only men, you know, but women
Could
also.
you stand, Brother Johnson?
No, the point. Well, you mentioned the pelvic.
No, man, I heard.
What you're talking about is the pelvic floor. I'm simply
Tell
saying.
us about the exercise.
No, I'm simply saying that you did mention, you didn't call it name, but it's the pelvic floor
Okay.
of the human.
Yes.
Not only we men, but also women. But we can do exercise by tightening up our pelvic floor.
Okay.
If men are suffering from that frequency of urination, it can be
Yes.
done through exercise.
Okay.
Because
Come
what
on.
you're doing, you're tightening up in the pelvic floor.
Come and demonstrate for us. Come right here so and demonstrate.
You know, you know.
No.
What I'm simply saying, as for me, I'm
Yes.
76. I'm very conscious in
Yes.
terms of my health. And I also look at what the science is saying about when I reach a certain age.
Yes.
So as for me, from 5 to 6, I exercise. I don't need more than 1 hour. You know.
Show us the exercise.
Well,
No, it's something
well,
for
to be
us learn
personal,
from.
I don't have to walk fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, you know, just normal walking.
Yes.
But make sure that your shoes is proper.
Mm-hmm.
And so from 5 to 6, I just take my walk around Mineral Lights, not in dangerous places though. And it can also be done in the evening. That it is the pelvic floor that need to be tightened up. I was reading an article in the Gleaner some times ago where this woman was complaining against her boyfriend or husband. And so I was reading also the instruction given by the gynecologist that what the woman needs to do is to do more exercise, you know, to tighten up her pelvic floor that her husband doesn't have so much complaint, particularly women that are having children. And it is also essential that you do not have the children too fast. You do not have the children too fast. But if you're having them too fast, then it means that your pelvic floor has to be tightened up. And that can be done by good exercise. You don't have to go out on the street like in Mineral Lights early like me. You can have a machine, you know. You can have a machine in your house if you can afford it to really exercise on, you know. There's a special machine that you can exercise on. Yes, so,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you very much. All right. Now, most people fall asleep naturally somewhere between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Sleeping outside these times is more difficult. Some research suggests that night shift workers get 1 to 3 hours less sleep per day than day shift workers. In addition to sleeping less, people who work shifts often get sleep of a lower quality. Now, I mentioned earlier that it's best to sleep on a single block. Sleeping undisturbed for 8 hours straight allows your body to regulate how much of each stage of sleep it gets. However, split sleep or a number of short sleeps is better than not getting any at all. Sleep requirements change as we age because our bodies change. At the other end of the life cycle spectrum are circumstances such as menopause for women, where sleep deprivation can be a result of hot flashes throughout the night or night sweats. As men get older, the prostate enlargement often leads to frequent trips to the bathroom at night. People often find it hard to get back to sleep. Many disabilities, which become more prevalent with age, can also affect your sleep, such as shortness of breath due to lung or heart conditions, as well as aches and pains from arthritis, injuries, or other musculoskeletal conditions. Sleep disorders can affect us more as we age. Now, many persons who have gained weight will also realize a change in their sleep pattern if you have gained a lot of weight. This is a very underdiagnosed and undertreated condition where sleep deprivation takes a toll. Even though people with sleep apnea may be getting the requisite number of hours in bed and asleep, they are getting the quantity but not the quality of sleep they need. Incidentally, this is where the family member may be an asset. The sleep apnea is often first identified by your partner, right? So if you're married, that's the partner, your partner will identify that you have a sleep apnea. And many times, some persons, even snoring, deep, heavy snoring, can also disturb your sleep. Can disturb the partner's sleep, and it can disturb the person who is snoring sleep as well, because it doesn't make you sleep soundly. Yes.
In terms of prostrate and so, some persons who are having problem maybe just give up themselves. But you can use pumpkin seed, you know. You can also use sarsaparilla. You can also use a ginseng, you know. You can get the pumpkin seed right at Shoppers Fair there. Yes, when you go back to Shoppers Fair, you can ask for the pumpkin seed. Area of the sarsaparilla. These are some of the items that can slow down your prostrate, slow down your urinary tract from going to the bathroom as often as you ought to. And you also have your tablets, you know. You can get the ginseng in your tablets also. And for the pelvic floor also, it is necessary to slow down the prostrate also by doing your exercise, you know.
All right, thanks. Now, sleep, what sleep does for us. Sleep has many different functions. Sleep is when we restore our physical energy. It's a time of deep rest and healing, like a mini hibernation. Stress hormones are shut off, heart rate decreases, blood pressure drops. So many of you who have high blood pressure, you know you need to get your rest. The blood pressure drops at that time, metabolism rate slows, and core body temperature falls. It's when growth hormones are secreted, important for growing children, but also contributing to cell repair and replacement in adults. It's when our immune system is most active, all right? The time when the body will fight infections. It's when hormones affecting hunger are secreted, affecting appetite, food intake, and body weight. I know that some of you are suffering from it, but you didn't want to say that you're suffering from sleep deprivation. But I know that some of you are suffering from it. Yes, sis. Sister Brown.
In all of this, remember the Bible tells us that we are to be temperate in everything.
Yes.
So we are to remember about temperance in everything.
Yes.
Too much sleep or too much no sleep.
She says there has to be a balance. That is so true. Temperate in everything that we do. 5 sleep stages. Now look at them there on the board. Can you see it? Stage 1. And as I say, other theorists will say a different number. Some will say maybe 4, some will say 6. Stage 1 is a transition stage between consciousness and sleep. You can generally hear and respond to someone so that you know it's a light sleep. You're just dozing off. Stage 2 is another stage of light sleep. You are easily awakened, but you're not aware of your surroundings. You spend about half your sleep time in stages 1 and 2. Stages 3 and 4 are deep slumber. This is a very restorative phase. Stage 5 is known as REM, or rapid eye movement stage. All right, so it's a rapid eye movement sleep, and it's a stage of sleep where you dream. Researchers believe your eyes move at this stage of sleep because you're scanning the images in your dreams. It's thought to be important for learning and for consolidation of memory. All right, so let me see the hands of those who are hearing about REM sleep for the first time. REM? All right, what does REM mean? REM. Rapid eye movement. Good. And that is what stage of sleep? A deep stage, right? Where you dream. Yes. Yes, Brother Glendon.
I will not talk about that. For married couples. for the married couples. Let me see if I can use a word. If let me see if we can talk fast. Not a good talker, you know. If married couple do worship often, that can contribute to abnormal sleeping and so on.
Elder Buckley,
Sex,
your
sex,
understanding?
regular sex, if married couples, if that for married couples, married couples
Okay.
only, yes,
So,
yes. So can that help for the abnormal
okay.
sleep?
All right.
The question. The question. A question.
Wait,
question.
no. Wait, get back. So, the question is, if married couple engage in sexual activities frequently, right, will that cause them to be fatigued and suffer from sleep deprivation, right? That's the question. And what's the answer? What's the answer? Okay, let's keep it PG though. Yes.
As for me, 41 years of marriage, in terms of sexuality, although as for me, I wasn't one of those men who believe you must just random do it. I believe that it should be planned, you know. So I never believe in random business. So I believe it must be planned. But as far as I've studied, if you want a good sleep, then have a good intimate time with your wife. If you want a good sleep, well, remember you don't have a wife now, you know, and neither I don't have a wife. But I'm making the suggestion as far as I've studied, and as far as I look in the science, I did science at college. But if you want a good sleep, just have a good time.
All right.
With your mate.
And
But
I'm going to go back to what Sister Brown said.
Pint of order. But remember now we know. This is not a slam bam business now we know.
Brother Johnson.
Good.
Yeah, thanks. Sister Brown said earlier we have to be temperate in everything that we do. All right? If you go overboard with anything, it is definitely going to affect you negatively. Okay? So you have to be temperate. A complete cycle can last between 60 to 90 minutes. So have you ever been extremely tired and you get like a 1 hour sleep, and when you get up you feel so refreshed and revived? Right, it's saying that you could have gone through a complete cycle in that 1 hour. A typical sleep will move through the cycle several times, but each cycle will vary in length. Whenever you're sleep deprived, your body will try first to catch up on deep sleep, And deep sleep is what stage? Stage is what? Stages 3 and 4 and REM sleep. All right? So stages 3, 4, and REM sleep. So whenever time your body is sleep deprived, it will try to catch up on deep sleep. Brother Tommy said it earlier. He said that he just find himself sleeping away. And as I said, sometimes your body is so fatigued that it has to catch up. How SD affects families. Let's look at how it affects families. Our sleeping patterns and family lives share a complex relationship, and deprivation affects not just individuals, but families and family systems as well. To examine the impact, let's first look at cohabiting couples. This usually involves sleeping together, which leads to a number of interesting dynamics that can affect the quantity and quality of sleep a couple receives. When two people share a bed, there are important factors that can affect their sleep that have to be negotiated or agreed on, such as the size of their bed, the firmness of their mattress, the temperature in their bedroom, and the presence of electronics. Research has shown that light emitted from TVs, smartphones, tablets, or light-emitting e-readers can interfere with a good night's rest. Let me see the hands of those who have television in the room. Yes. And if it's on, it's saying that the light emitted can affect your rest. The time at which one partner goes to sleep or wakes up in the morning can affect the other partner. If a couple is incompatible, has incompatible schedules, both of their sleeping patterns can be negatively affected by the actions and routines of each other. One person may stay up later than they would like because their partner wants to spend more time with them, thus depriving themselves of sleep. Discussion between sleeping partners is crucial. It's crucial to both getting their required amount of sleep that they individually need, but also represent negotiations that can cause conflict in a relationship or provide opportunities for consideration, respect, and compromise. Now, what am I saying? The two persons, the couple, married couple, all right? They have different schedule. Now, one wants to stay up late and the other doesn't. Can this cause problem in the relationship? Yes. Can cause problem. Can it also lead to sleep deprivation? Yes, so one may compromise and then no, can't go to work or go to work very groggy, right? And the other may be feeling upset that the partner doesn't want to stay up.
As for me, when my wife used to be at university, my former wife, when she was doing her master's, I would compromise with her by staying up with her. But it is a compromise. But those persons who have more than one bedroom, if the person doesn't want you to be there, because sometimes some persons just want to study alone or be alone. You can ask the person excuse in a very gingerly way, and the person can go to his or her room, you know, if you are in that position. Or though some persons, like my former wife, would want me to be with her, because as long as I'm staying with her, because I'm not somebody that easily sleep, she's more comforted. But as you have said before, there must be a compromise in that regard.
Okay, thank you. Anybody has anything to share there? Sister Sharp? All right. These are the conscious decisions affecting the bedroom and sleep. But there are involuntary factors as well. One of the biggest disruptors of sleep is a noisy or restless bed partner. The most common issues are snoring and frequent moving in bed. There are many causes of snoring, some mechanical, example, sleeping position, like some people when they sleep on their backs and maybe the chin is resting right arm down on the neck, they will snore. Right, so it could be the position that they are sleeping in. The other psychological, for example, enlarged tonsils and adenoids. What's fascinating is that some snoring can actually reach industrial strength decibel levels, rattling windows and even disturbing sleepers in other bedrooms. And yet the snorer sleeps through the racket. Two of the most common sleep disorders are obstructive sleep apnea and restless leg syndrome. Anybody has restless leg syndrome? Where your legs move like it kick unconsciously. Yes, some persons grind their teeth as well. Restless leg syndrome causes people to feel discomfort in their legs that is relieved only by continually moving them around, which again can be quite disruptive to the other person in the bed. If this occurs later in life, some couples may decide to move to separate beds or bedrooms to manage their sleep. Yes.
I noticed you have not mentioned anything about a person who walk in their sleep, a person who talk in their sleep. You have folks who get up and open the windows in the nights. And you have like wife and husband, because I have known of wife and husband. Husband sleeping in his sleep and talking about his girlfriend. Yes, those things happen. And call other ladies' name and all those kind of things. I notice you don't say anything about that.
You know, Elder Sharp, recently in the news, and it's a common thing, actually. If you Google it, you will see a number of these cases where people walk in their sleep and walk to their death. Yes. For example, they may be on a 6-story house building, right, and they walk to the window and go right through and fall to their death. There are a number of cases like that. So, okay, right.
So what is the cause of that?
And as you said, some persons talk in their sleep.
Yes, and everything in what happening in the private life, and
right.
And
that can be problematic
and that can
in
be
the relationship.
Right.
No, as I mentioned before, you will have to be diagnosed by a medical practitioner. So it may be a doctor, it may be a psychologist, it may be a psychiatrist, right? Maybe a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist. They will have to diagnose, because sometimes the causes of these things are psychological, but you can't just look and say that it's psychological, because I know many times persons are extremely stressed and it causes them to talk in their sleep. It's not something they do regularly, but because of this period of stress that they are going through, they start to talk in their sleep or they start to walk in their sleep. So it can be many factors that can cause that. But as you said, it will create a big problem and it will need checking out.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What about married couples that sleep head and tail?
Head and tail?
Yeah. The wife up by the wife head up and the husband head down.
Okay. Is there a problem with that?
That's why I'm asking, what is the problem?
No, there's not a problem with that. That's choice. All right? For couples, get back. For couples who decide to have children, with me? For couples who decide to have children, a whole new variety of factors are brought into the household that affect sleeping patterns and sleep management. This begins with pregnancy. Expectant mothers often have trouble sleeping due to the increasing size of the fetus. The ability to feel the baby moving and increase trips to the bathroom at night. After the baby arrives, disrupted sleep becomes a norm. Babies cry to communicate whenever they are hungry, in need of a diaper change, or needing to be settled. This can be disruptive to both the new mother, especially if she's breastfeeding, or her partner. This is also a challenging time for getting enough rest, which means it's an important time for negotiation. As children get older, around 3 or 4 years of age, they are able to get up and get themselves dressed. Decisions have to be made as to whether a parent gets up with them or whether they train their kids to get up to the family room or basement or entertain themselves so their parents can remain in bed. Many parents create a dependency where children expect company and attention from them at all times, robbing one or both parents of the extra sleep they need. So new parents will have to learn how to teach their child or children to, over time, become independent. Yes. Yes, man.
As somebody who work with the church, sometimes there's misunderstanding in the home. And as for me, I prefer the issue solved, before. Because as for me, when my wife was alive, I really like to sleep and hug her up. So I know in the head and tail business. So if there's a problem, I believe that you should sort it out before, And maybe you can't sort it out yourselves, but there are counselors. You can ask counselors to assist you. Because here is it now. What if one of you are falling ill? What if one of you are falling ill? And there's no other persons to assist you.
All right, point taken. Thank you very much. Now, sleep deprivation and teenagers. The next chapter in the parent sleep continuum is when children reach early adolescence. This is when something called phase shift delay occurs, where teenagers start to stay up later and then can't wake up in the morning. A process often misunderstood by parents. Parents often complain that their children are party animals at night when they won't go to bed, and then lazy slugs in the morning when they can't or won't get up for school. In fact, there's a biological basis for this. Listen up now. I'm going to ask you a question. In adults, cortisol levels start to fall at about 10 p.m. and the sleep hormone, melatonin, is secreted. That's when we fall asleep. Then somewhere between 6 and 8 a.m., melatonin secretion stops and we get a surge of cortisol. This allows us to wake up and start our day. Among teenagers, this whole process is delayed by 1 or 2 hours. Cortisol doesn't shut off, and melatonin doesn't kick in until later in the evening. And the reverse process doesn't occur until an hour or 2 later in the morning. Adolescents stay up late because they are not tired yet. It's physiological. If they don't wake up in the morning at the same time they used to, it's likely because their brains are still in sleep mode for an extra hour or 2. So when they won't wake up, it's because they can't wake up, except with great difficulty. Teenagers often face a clash between their physiological and academic needs. Many jurisdictions have moved high school, abroad, and sometimes I pray that it would happen out here, where they would start school at 9 a.m. So abroad, some schools, because of this, I'm hearing some talking over here, kind of disturbing, thanks. Yes, so some schools abroad have changed their opening time to 9 a.m. or even 10 a.m., which is a better biological fit for teenagers. These districts have noticed better attendance at school, improved academic performance, and fewer behavioral problems when students are allowed to get the sleep they need in the time frame that corresponds with their physiological needs. There are also benefits to families from this rescheduling of school hours, and I know that all our teenagers are going to agree with this. So, since we realize that our teenagers are having a problem where the body does not shut down at the time when our body shut down, what are some of the suggestions? What can we as parents do? Question to the congregation. Kino, you have a response? All right, give Kino the mic, please.
I think the parents should send their children earlier to bed most of the times because they stay up. For instance, my big brother, he stays up until 10 o'clock in the night or even 1 and then goes to bed, and then he has to wake up to go to school in the morning.
Give him a round of applause, everybody. Oh my gosh, you're such an intelligent child. So, send them to bed earlier so that they can take a longer time to cool down, right? All right. I have a suggestion too, and then I'll take another from you. Take away the gadgets from them earlier so they can cool down, start to cool down earlier, right? Any other suggestion?
They stays up on the internet and the computer and the phone, and that is what we are having now.
Yes.
And sometimes you wake up in the night, and when you look across the room, the light is still on, and you realize, and as they hear you open the door like you're going into the bathroom, then lock off the thing, like say them in a sleep, and you know so they ain't asleep. Then when you wake up in the morning now, then can't help wake up your yard, them can't clean up a place, and then you will go over sometime and say, what are you doing? I'm doing my homework. You know, I did not slow on the maths, and I did not get enough grade on the maths, and I'm trying to do the maths. And you now get the result. Huh? You understand? And all those kind of nonsense
I
and
see my
rubbish.
daughter over there laughing off her face.
Because that's
you're
the
just
problem.
talking up the things.
Yes,
Sister Sharp.
they spend a lot of time on
Oh
the
my
computer,
gosh.
and they claim that they are doing some research
Sister Sharp.
and all the kind of foo-foo
You
garbage.
see them and then they say,
Rubbish.
oh, I'm working on my history assignment.
Right.
Yes.
And then because them feel say, you know, all the
No, because they
intelligent
take it
and
for
all.
big head body.
Eh.
You know?
And the time you know
Yes.
so the light did in there, and as them hear you
Yes.
them lock it off
Right.
and pretend as if they are sleeping and they are
True.
not sleeping.
So that's why I say, Sister Sharp,
Yes.
although, what age is that one?
Oh, that's 18.
All right? 18, that's an adult.
But you want the grade
But,
same
but
way
let's
because
say,
of the
all right,
money.
you can only encourage same way, you know. You can still, you'll just have to encourage and be at that person same way. Understand? Younger than 18, you have to give them curfew. You have to, in terms of the gadgets, right? So give them a time period between such and such time. You come home, let's say they come home from school, 4 o'clock, right? Right, Shaniqua? What time you come home from school? 3:30, all right? And she's going to cool down, you know, just do whatever she wants for half an hour. All right, her mom will say to her, Shaniqua, between 4:30 and 7, you will get the tablet or the laptop. And you can do all your assignments, because what is happening now, you know, is that because most of the assignments are coming online now. So that is a problem. On WhatsApp groups, the teachers are forming WhatsApp groups, the assignments sent through email. So you find that they will need it. It's not a if or but, they need it. So you'll have to give them a time period now to say between 4:30 and 7, you get it. After that, I'm going to take it away. So anything you plan to do within that time period, you will have to account for it because after that, I'm going to take it away. Right? So all the mothers of teenagers and fathers, please, if you haven't started doing that, start doing that now. Yes, Brother Glendon.
Okay, I was just going to say they will still find some excuse to say the assignment not done on time and until 11:30.
No, man, you can't get rid of that. They will always have excuses. Always. Trust me, they can get A in excuses, but you have to be on top of things. All right, so what you will find as a result of all of this staying up late, they start to underperform, low performance, unable to balance daily activities. They will get groggy and irritable. Even at you, the adults, they will become irritable. And at school, the teachers will say, I noticed that your child is sleeping throughout classes. What's happening? And you're saying, really? And then when you take a look now, when you open the room door, late in the night, you see a little glimmer of light coming from under the sheet. Right? And then you realize that that child is tricking you. So instead of sleeping, they're on the gadgets. So you have, and the thing is, many adults are not savvy with the technology. But I'm informing you that you have to be on top of your game, all right? All right. Other consequences of sleep deprivation. How much more time do I have, Elder Buckley? Oh, I have 5 minutes. All right, good. Okay. Okay, great. All right, your reaction time is slower. You have trouble concentrating or remembering things. You may have difficulty communicating clearly with family members or co-workers. You'll be less effective playing your role in the family unit. You'll be less attentive to the needs of the family. You may fall asleep on the job. There's a greater risk you'll make a safety critical mistake. You know, even with saying that, I saw a video on social media, and it's true, with this man, he fell asleep at the wheels. He was so tired, exhausted, fatigued, and he fell asleep to the point he was sleeping so comfortably that his hands were crossed like this. Nobody steering it, and there was somebody, the person driving next to him was videoing it and trying to get his attention to wake him up. And just as he was about to crash into something, he just woke up and grabbed onto the steering. He was there driving for quite a while. So fatigue can lead to all of this thing too. You falling asleep at the wheel, killing off yourself, killing off your family, killing off others. Family and social life, it can take a heavy toll on family. Less involved in daily life, harder to organize domestic chores, difficulty arranging childcare, higher risk of divorce. You may be tempted to choose social or family activities over sleep. Should you? Should you? All right, I'm asking. Listen, you may be tempted to choose social or family activities over sleep. Should you? Somebody said yes. Who said yes? Somebody what? Yes?
All right. For married couples. PG, married couple. Okay. So you spend some time. Give your partner their time. And you say, all right, maybe by 9:30, yeah, sleep and rare. So you split the time. You work within a time limit. Yeah.
Okay. I have something to say, but let me hear from that gentleman first.
For
What's the best sleep you get in the nights? Either you get the sleep, first sleep.
Oh, remember
How to
we
say?
spoke, were you here when we looked at the different stages? Oh, we looked at the different stages of sleep. 5 stages, and the last stage is REM sleep. So the first 2 stages, that's light sleep, and the other 3 stages, that's a deeper sleep. Right, and it will take you about approximately 1 hour before you can get into the deep sleep. That's a REM. REM sleep is where you dream. And your eye will do some scanning of images, right? You're dreaming.
Sometimes you have certain assignment, you see. And this has led us to very critical areas. There are persons who are in certain position of responsibilities, you know. And sometimes you are going to have a meeting, you know, maybe a board meeting or executive meeting, and you have certain requirements to be fulfilled. You know, I have known persons who those assignment has to be fulfilled. And so sometimes it takes time, you know. It will, sometimes you have to rob yourself because you have to go and present a paper,
That's true.
right? And
That's true.
especially
That's reality,
yes.
but it's occasional.
Yes,
It's
yes,
not
yes.
like an everyday
Yes, yes,
situation,
yes,
right?
yes.
That shouldn't be a regular situation, right? So the question I asked, you may be tempted to choose social or family activities over sleep. So based on all that I've said about sleep deprivation, you can't answer me? You shouldn't. You shouldn't, right? And right, the sleep will help you to deal better with them. There are so many social activities going on around us at church, at the workplace, at home. So I have my family, my husband has his family has that social event, my family has that, and if you follow yourself, you're up and down all over. My children have these extracurricular activities that they're involved in, and you're all over the place, and you are not getting enough sleep. Sleep is very important. All right, let me just wrap up and then you can tell me. Get the sleep you need. Set up your bedroom for sleeping. Make it as dark as possible. Some persons say they can't sleep in darkness. Let me see the hands of those who can't sleep in darkness because you're afraid. But remember, based on what I was saying, I said the light emitted can affect your sleep. All right? I know of persons. Oh, okay. Okay.
the darker the place is better for you to sleep, you know. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to say is that Mr. George Bush, it doesn't matter what his programs are. He goes to bed. That time when he was the president, he goes to bed exactly 9.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what is it.
Okay.
Everything has to stop.
Okay.
And he goes to bed 9 p.m.
Okay.
You know.
All
and
right.
and I know that he was a good president. You
All
know,
right.
yes,
So move distractions to another room. And remember, the distractions we're referring to. Some of you say you have television in the room. That's a distraction. The computers, those are distractions. Move them to another room. Could I get your name, please?
Brother Road,
Okay.
for me,
Okay.
go,
Okay.
come on, sister. For me, I have to have light in my house. Even one after room, them have to light up. Me not gonna sleep in the darkness. Darkness is, how I should put it now. You need light. You need light. The light bring the truth. So you need light. I don't know if I'm wrong here or if I'm right, church, but you need light, not darkness.
All right, so you're taking it from a biblical perspective. All right?
The writer of the book. But I was looking at it, and it said, the darker the room is the best sleep you
Alright.
get.
Yeah. I said it earlier. I said the darker the room is, the better you will sleep. When the light is emitted, it affects your yes, it affects your frontal lobe, it affects your eyes and everything. It affects your sleep pattern. I hear what you're saying. All right, you're taking it really, really, really literally. Go again. Yes, some persons have phobias. Some persons have a fear. Not necessarily of the dark, but what comes with it. Right? What their thoughts stray and all sort of things. Make sure you won't be disturbed. All right, heading down now. Good sleeping habits. Keep to a regular bedtime routine. Wind down before trying to sleep. Be careful what you eat or drink before bedtime. Very important. If you drink sugary thing before bedtime, what's going to happen to you? Huh? What's going to happen? Energy, right? So you're going to be kept awake. For some persons, Sister Dawn is saying the sleep, all right, the sweet causes you to sleep. Why do you think that happens? Especially like in the day. Let's say in the day here, you go home and you eat a sweet bun, and you drink sweet sugar and water, right? What will happen to you? Huh? Knock you out. Because your body, it's not being worked out, all right? Especially if you're not doing any form of work and you're there just sitting down. So that's not a good thing, though. If you want to sleep, it's not good for you to eat something sweet in order to go to sleep. That's not good. Because the brain will go to sleep as well. And it will cause other issues. Yes, Brother Glendon.
I saw this at work. All right, before I used to work on this construction site, and when lunchtime come and you eat your lunch, you just want to sleep after. Even if you drink soup or some dumpling and some tin mackerel or whatever, or chicken back, when you finish, you feel like you just want to go under one tree and just curl up and just. And the same thing I realize with other workers too. Soon as them done eat, they're gone. Gone.
Yeah, because apparently you ate too much carbohydrate, too much starch. Many times you think it's just the sugar, you know. Carbohydrate, the starch, the sugar, it weighs down your body. Your body is not breaking down whatever you just ate easy, quick enough, and the amount, it's not breaking it down quickly enough because you're not active at the time, all right? And as you say, can even cause your brain to go dead. Your thoughts, everything get confused and you can't think straight. So that's a no-no.
What is your recommendation for persons who, let's say, the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Finance Minister, these men with these high-profile jobs, and most of them might be taking sleeping tablets to keep them awake. What is your concern about that?
That is true. Not only them, you're saying politicians, a lot of persons are taking sleeping tablets to go sleep.
Yes, and
also
to keep them awake.
This world has become so stressful, so many stressors around that many persons are dependent on sleeping tablets for them to sleep. What is my recommendation to that? Sleeping tablets, they are addictive. They can be addictive, right? And what happens is that you will become dependent on them. What is it that you need to do in everything, especially as Seventh-day Adventists? We promote natural, healthy stuff, right? And I was going to say at the end, what is it, New Start that we look at? So what is New Start? Nutrition, exercise, water, S, sunshine, T, temperance, A, air, R, rest, T, trust in God. We said trust in God already. No, we didn't? Okay. So all of that is what we need to exercise. You see, most presentations that people do, come back to the New Start, comes back right back to that. All right, in closing, I see I have it here. Physical exercise, you need to do that. A healthy, balanced life. So I've come to the end of my presentation. I hope that we all learned something this afternoon. Sleep is one of the 3 basic pillars of good health, along with nutrition and exercise. From the start of a living relationship to the latter stages of your lives, it affects members of every family, both individually and collectively. Awareness of our requirements and those of our other family members is key in managing our sleep and avoiding the consequences of deprivation. So as of today, I hope that nobody here will be fatigued or suffering from sleep deprivation because you will get your the amount of rest that is required. All right? Any questions? Thank you very much for listening.
All right. Please join me in telling Sister Francis thanks for that presentation. I believe we were benefited by the presentation. Now, I have some youngsters here behind me on the platform, and they are very anxious to participate in the program. I told them it is time for Pastor to speak. I got Pastor's permission to give them a few minutes. They have a little skit that they want to do for us, so I am asking for your undivided attention as they bring to us the skit, and I hope that we will learn something from it. As it is said, a little child shall lead them. So let's give them the support.